Let me just try to get the angle right. I'm so sorry that it is in profile and not landscape, but that is a YouTube thing. It is fighting with me. Like I said, YouTube did have it straightened out, but they giveth and they taketh away. So hello to everyone that's here. Palma, Elsie, Nancy, Roberta, Mimi, Jill, welcome everybody. Hi Diane, Diane with one N. So members, I did upload the messages from angels and answered your questions with that. And I also did the spirit messages and answered your questions. And I answered a lot. So I've been doing like those questions for like 2.5 hours. So please let me know that you can hear and see me okay. Let me know. I hope everyone's having a good Friday night. It's been chilly here. So, you know, like that's why I'm wearing long sleeves. Thank you, Queen Maria. Thank you. Okay, so I sound and look good. Thank you. Hello, Lulu JM. Thanks for letting me know, LC. Okay. So if you haven't already, please help my algorithm. As you know, I just hit 25,000 subscribers. I could not have done it without you, but a part of the reason that I did is because you help my algorithm. So please hit the like button, comment, subscribe, make sure you hit the bell so you get notifications. Check out membership. Members, I did put out those 2 videos. You're also all members. Even my $1.99 members, you are all this coming week getting the Law of One 7-day meditation challenge. So every day for 7 days, next week, you will be getting a new thing to focus on, new meditation. Really excited about that. You'll also be getting the dragon class to find out like which is your personal dragon, how to connect with dragons, you know, because dragons can help us navigate things, help us get courage and strength and wisdom. Next Sunday, members, we have the channelings. And for my angel members, I am going with Archangel Cassiel, who I have not channeled before. And I'll tell you why. It's because she is the angel of grief and sorrow. And so many people are hurting right now. And I'm going to also offer an attunement video where you can align with her energy. And with all my channelings, you get to actually speak to the entity that I am channeling. I step aside. So if you do want a reading with me, that is DianeAquarius.com. I only have a few openings left for this year. Okay, so if you do want a reading, sooner than later, okay? Because I don't have many openings, that's for sure. Thank you to everybody that donated for the cat and dog food for the Salem Food Pantry here. We raised $400 that night. Thank you. You know, it'll go towards a worthy cause because I hate it when I volunteer there and they have tons of food for people. And within like the first hour, we're out of the cat and dog food. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I am so grateful. Also too, if anybody was thinking about the Starseed course, if you looked in the community tab, you can see I am writing the book called The Starseeds Guidebook. That course is going away forever. The channeling course I am bringing back. I actually have AI that can transcribe it for me, so I'm not sitting there writing it out, because that's why I kept putting it off. But AI can actually now just transcribe it for me, so I'm not sitting there doing it by hand. But that course is going away forever, and it's becoming a book. And so that is at the Awaken Your Mind level, $9.99. You can have the entire course. It's been up for 3 years, because I know someone will complain to me, oh, Diane, it's been there for 3 years. And I'm giving you what, like 5-6 weeks more to take it, but it will be there. And, you know, the thing is, sometimes like people will write to me and say, Diane, you say like it's one price, but it's another. Well, if you live in another country, I can't control the conversion rate. And if you do use an Apple product, Apple does put on junk fees that they keep. It doesn't go to me, it doesn't go to YouTube. But if you sign up on an Android, you don't get the junk fees. And that's what Biden was talking about with the junk fees, right? Pete Buttigieg was talking about that with the airlines. This is what they're talking about. But you can sign up on an Android device and then watch it on an Apple device without the junk fees, okay? So I got a little bit too ambitious this week, and I just finished my 200-hour yoga teacher training certification course. So if you saw in the community tab, I said, oh, I'm going to be putting out videos on Tuesday. Yeah, you know what? I was way too ambitious. I do not know what I was thinking. It was a huge, long test. It was 100 questions. There was an essay and a portion where you actually do have to teach. So I got a little bit ambitious, and I don't know if I mentioned to you, but I am also taking, because this was part of my New Year resolution, was to gain more knowledge in things that I've been putting off, things that I've wanted to do. And so I'm taking a computer science course through Harvard's continuing education program that they have for adults. And it's enlightening, it's fantastic, but boy, am I being challenged. Because everything I learned about computers in school is gone. It's irrelevant. It's, I have to get with the times. So I am busy, for sure. Let's see, Marisa, and I'm a subscriber, but all I can get is the chat, a black screen with a message saying this can't be played in the background. I don't know what that means. Because I can see because I make it so people, like, for lack of a better word, here's the proper English term, the wackadoodles that come along when I do a live and say bizarre things. I make it so you have to be a subscriber for at least 24 hours. So Marie, I can see what you're writing, just so you know, okay? Tamlin says it's called being in love and marriage to Sandra. Are you guys having like this whole conversation? Okay, wow, you guys are... Thank you, Priscilla. You know what? And not that the focus should ever like be on like how people look and whatnot, but with doing that yoga teacher certification program, I've lost 15 pounds. Because as you guys know, like I gained weight from the hormone therapy and all that crazy stuff. But now it's like I'm starting to get back into a good rhythm. I'm exercising. I'm, back to doing my ballet, and I'm walking and, trying to eat right. Just like all of you. Oh my gosh, Sandra, you just made me laugh. Sandra says, I must have married the wrong guy. And Marie, you're still saying that you don't know what's happening, but I can, honest to goodness, see your comments. You're coming through. You really are. I promise. I wouldn't lie. Nor can I see through a screen. So trust me, it's there. It's there. Thank you, everybody. You're all really, really too kind. I'm putting out a video tomorrow, and before we get into the questions here tonight, I'm putting out a video tomorrow, and it's going to be about the speech, because I think I watched most of the speeches. Certainly I watched all the big ones, but I watched, I think, the vast majority of the speeches. Sometimes the next day, though, because it was like up past my bedtime, being on the East Coast. But there was one speech that really grabbed me. Now, I felt like the majority of the speeches really moved me. They lifted me up. They inspired me. They made me feel full of joy and hope. But as a psychic and as someone who practices and teaches the law of one, there was one speech that gave me goosebumps, that like blew open my third eye as I was watching it. And that was Bill Clinton's. Now, whether you like him, don't like him, his message had layers to it. I almost felt like there was hidden messages within it. And I dissect it and I go through that. And so that video will be out, okay? And I'm so sorry that I didn't put out a new podcast and blog last Sunday, but you will have a new podcast, new blog this Sunday, and a new pick-a pile. And I have brand new cards for the pick-a pile too, so I'm really excited about that. So anything else before? Let me see. I'm just looking at everybody's stuff here. Hey, Diana. Hey, Lucretia. Diana, if you're talking about the membership things, I mean, it's the end of the month. I just made the videos. But I did put up lots of warnings too. I put up lots of warnings. Lucretia says, I want to let you know that you were correct that I would find an apartment in October. You did find one in September, but a better one is coming up in October. Awesome. Yay. Yeah, I'm not going to say like I thought Bill Clinton's was the most dynamic, like the most like jaw-dropping, like exciting. No, it was the content of what he said. And as a psychic, and I'm just going to go right back to what I've always told you guys. Not every president is given the same amount of information. And we know this now, don't we? Because if Trump had all the information, say, that Obama had, that the Bushes had, and I'm not saying that you liked these people, I'm not talking about liking. I'm talking about the ability to keep your mouth shut. Because if they had told him about because we're far beyond Area 51, right? I think they're up to Area 54. I mean, if he knew about all the extraterrestrial stuff, please. I mean, he'd be trying to manipulate the extraterrestrials. And so, no, they're not. But I do feel like Clinton was one of them that was given a lot of information. I liked Hillary's speech too. Yes. Yeah, you know what? Conchana says RFK just suspended his campaign. Let me tell you something. What I don't read on is just as important what I do read on, if you know what I mean. I never felt like RFK mattered. I don't think he mattered then. I don't think he matters now. I don't think whatever he does or doesn't do is going to affect this election in any way, shape, or form. You know? Yes, Sandra, absolutely. Because you know what? So Sandra says, please say that Harris Waltz will win in November. So here's the thing. When you ask me that question, what I'm actually really hearing is, Diane, are we moving to fourth density? Are we ascending? Are we leveling up? Or are we going back to like times of world wars and poverty and hatred and holocausts? And no, we're not. How many times during the DNC did they chant, we are not going back, we are not going back? How many times did they say that? We're not going back, people. But don't grow complacent. And Bill talked about that, and that's something that I'm going to talk about in that video. Do not grow complacent. Talk to your neighbor, but don't talk to your neighbor in a way that's demeaning. If they have a different ideology than you, you're not. I will give you the perfect example. Okay, when I was younger, because as you guys know, I'm a vegan, I'm an animal rights activist. When I was younger, I was that stereotypical angry vegan. That'd be like, how could you eat meat? How? Like, why would you do that? How could you hurt an animal? Right? Guess how many people I won over by being that way? Now, how many people have I gotten to see my side of things by shutting up and just living a good life? Just living a good, healthy life. Don't be condescending. And I love that Bill Clinton was saying that. Like, you're never going to sway people by being mean and nasty. So, if somebody wears a red hat and you're chewing them out, well, you know what? You didn't win them over. You pushed them further away. And you know what? I figured that out as a teenager. And I think that's a life lesson that I think we can all benefit from, right? Whatever it is that we're passionate about. So, Obama was fantastic. Oh my gosh, the crowd size. that cracked me up. Yeah, well, okay. So Tamlin says, MAGA's coming out strong with the insults and trolling. It's like they're turning up the heat. What else do they have left? Think about it. Think about if you were them. Compare the RNC with the DNC. Okay? The RNC, there was no like, whoa, yeah, hope, joy. Things are going to get better. We're all coming together. Love, happiness. Celebrities, presidents. I mean, Trump couldn't even get his last vice president. George Bush didn't go. There was Republicans speaking at the DNC. That's not supposed to happen. Plus they got all the musical rights, for a lot of the, bigger entertainers I saw. And they got some real entertainers. They got some real speakers. Compare the two, but also compare not just the energy, but once again, the crowd size, and the normalcy of them. I mean, so many of them looked so beautiful. So many of the people that were in the audience, they just looked gorgeous, right? But also too, I think that's what good living and joy and hope, love does to people. So imagine that you're one of those MAGAs. Your whole world is falling apart. What else do you have left except for insults and trolling? And imagine too, for a second that you're Donald Trump. Imagine that for a second. And every aspect of your life is in free fall. I mean, first of all, his own wife and children were not right there by his side during the RNC. Okay? I mean, where is Melania? Ivanka, she's washed her hands. She's good, right? I mean, she kind of came out and said something kind of cryptic, but she was like, yeah, I'm good, thanks. I'm not going down with the ship. And so people are backing away, but his whole life is in free fall. His stocks are plummeting. He has, all these lawsuits coming up. His crowd sizes are plummeting. His polls keep falling. Every time I see another poll, it's worse for him. It's worse. I mean, now he's a narcissist. I mean, that'd be hard if you're just a regular person living your life. Now imagine if your whole life is based around that. And one thing I have to say, because I do notice he does seem to be getting a bit more confused and his speech is different. And I saw him the other day, forget where I saw him. But one thing I noticed was his face is sunken in. Okay, so he's losing, some of the fat in his face at least. I didn't really get a chance to see what the rest of him looked like. But if you know anything about dentures, if you lose weight, your dentures don't fit. So he's sort of sounding like Roger Rabbit over there, with the lisping and, his dentures don't fit. The guy is having weight issues, and his makeup was just, it wasn't good. I mean, I always say, if that was my dad, my grandpa, I'd be like, come on, let's go home. Put our feet up, watch some Netflix, order some pizza. He doesn't need this anymore. And, wow, Diana, you've been a member of mine for 46 months. You are amazing. No, Kim says he doesn't look good. He does not look good. He doesn't. He is not the same. I have my strawberry guava. I need to stir it. My strawberry guava drink over here. Okay, so let's get to some of the questions that you guys sent me. So Super Sean Mom said, I just finished watching the first night of the DNC convention and I cried with emotions with love and respect for President Biden. Yeah, I thought that like they treated him with a lot of respect and a lot of kind things were said, and I liked that. All the speakers, you know, Hillary, the messages and visions for America's way forward. My question is, did it change any hearts and minds, MAGA, to get any closer to unite our country? I think so, because I liked how Kamala came out and was speaking right to those undecided, those people on the fence, the people that were like, wait, you know, I'm not quite so sure anymore. I don't know. So I think it did make a difference. The cards are being kind of jumpy with this one. Do you see this? Okay. Some of these people are just like, oh my gosh, get me to smoother waters. This is getting turbulent. I don't like what's happening with my party. You know, I mean, because the people that were conservative Republicans, they've lost that. That's gone. I mean, it's turned into a mega cult. So it's gone. The obstacle, though, is their own thoughts, right? Because each one of these swords is a thought. And like their own thoughts are just kind of like holding them prisoner. But you know what? If they took off the blindfold, these binds are loose. They can let go. And a lot of them will let go and change their minds. Okay? And I like this. The Knight of Stability here, right? The Knight of Pentacles is very stable. And, you know, he's practical, he's reliable, he's down to earth. So those of them that are reasonable, that are down to earth, they're going to move forward. And if I look at the bottom of the deck, and here's Kamala, you know, a strong, independent woman who stands her like on her own ground, right? She stands on her own 2 feet. She makes her own money. She doesn't need anyone to take care of her. She's got this. I love that. Yeah, me too, Amethyst. I love that that Tim Walz brought the word joy. But think about it, okay? For those of you that have been listening to me for some time, what is one of the things that you need to manifest and or to ascend to the next density? You need joy, you need happiness, you need passion, enthusiasm. You need high level emotions to manifest what you desire, but also to ascend to the next level. Because we're going from the solar plexus, third density, right? That's our third chakra. That's like the me part, right? Of ourselves, like our self-worth, our self-confidence, up to our heart chakra, to love and compassion. So we need those high level vibes. And it's amazing how they're tapping into exactly what you need to manifest and to ascend. So to me, it's like I'm looking at this in a very different way, in a more of a metaphysical way than something that, you know, is maybe just practical. Steph, so many readers think a woman will take him down. Kamala's your belief. Honestly, at this point, pick a woman that isn't taking him down. I don't know if you have to be psychic to make that prediction at this point. Now, when we all started saying this years ago, sure. But I mean, E. Jean Carroll, I mean, even his daughter, Ivanka's turning her back on him. I mean, you have Kamala. I mean, like, pick a woman, all these female judges. You know, I mean, so which one is the one that brings, I think it's going to be a culmination of all of them. But you know what? It's like just that human side of me, the part that says, okay, look, we are all one, right? Even with people that we don't care for. So like a part of me actually kind of feels bad for him. Like, oh my gosh, like How can any person like have done this to themselves? But that's the whole thing. He's done this to himself. He's done this. Nobody's done this to him. He's created this karma. He's created this situation, and he can pull out of it and he can stop it. He can have an epiphany, but every time I do his cards, every time I ask my guides, every time I channel anybody on the other side, I get the same exact answers. He is not having an epiphany or an awakening in this lifetime. And I've talked to astrologers that say that it's not in his chart too. So isn't that really sad? I mean, no life is wasted, but there's so much more he could have done given the opportunities and the money, the publicity, the fame, the power that he had. Think about how much good he could have done. And now imagine him crossing over and having to do that life review. I wouldn't want to be him. You know? So let me see. Yeah, right, exactly, Melissa. How can any woman vote for him? Because some of them are truly brainwashed. They really are brainwashed. And, you know, I hate it, but when I see people, actually, I just saw, oh, I wish I could remember, because I saw it on YouTube. Somebody was talking about a near-death experience that she had, and she went through like these different like realms or dimensions on the other side. And she said she saw a place where people that were brainwashed, that were in cults, that had had like their minds messed with in some way, all stuck like glue in this place. And I told you guys, I've always seen that people who are brainwashed, they have to go through this huge healing process. I call it the healing center, where like they get cocooned by, you know, angels, and they have to go through this healing process, and it takes as long as it takes. And that's why sometimes we can't communicate with them so easily. So it's sad. Like, it just makes me kind of sad that there's people that's like that, because there's so much information nowadays. I can see how back in the day you could get suckered into a cult, but nowadays we have so much information. You know, you can fact check this stuff. So I also wanted to say that I was a little disappointed, I'm not going to lie, that some of you did not understand why I made the video that I called something to the effect of, where is Biden and Trump on November 5th? You're like, well, why do we care about Biden come November 5th? Okay, well, so much for riding with Biden. You didn't care. You just wanted a Democrat, right? It could be a pickle in a jar, and that's who you'd be voting for. That's fine. I mean, if you're just a Democrat, that's that. Okay. But just don't pretend like you cared. That actually made me a little bit, you know, sad and disappointed in some people. Like, what are you talking? What does it matter? It doesn't matter. Well, okay, except for the fact that he's an actual human being, and we're talking about a human life. And I'm saying all the red flags are coming up here. I'm concerned about him. And, you know, and I will talk about this in my video about Bill Clinton too. Bill did not look good, did he? He did not look good. His hands were, you know, you could see shaking. His voice was weak. You know, his face, I mean, you could see like he had lost a lot of weight in his face. You know, he wasn't looking good. And so just something to keep in mind. But that's why I made that, that video, because I am concerned that something's going to happen to 3 presidents within a short period of time. You know, Carter's hanging in there for the election, but I am concerned about Biden's health and, you know, and Trump's health. I don't think the 3 of them are doing well. I don't, by the way, though, just to be clear, I don't see Bill going anywhere anytime soon. But I think this may be the last time, though, that we see him in sort of more of a robust way, standing up, giving a talk at a podium, that kind of vibe. I think this will be one of the last times that we see that. That is my prediction on that. So I see a lot of you saying, like, why doesn't he get new dentures? Because the thing is, when you have dementia, things like hygiene and the practicalities of it all goes out the window. You know, if you ever work in a dementia unit, you will quickly learn that dentures, hearing aids, and glasses are a nightmare. You know, most dementia units don't even bother with them because they're always getting fiddled with, broken, missing, lost, thrown away. But it also tells you something about his mental state, doesn't it? That he didn't get a new set of dentures, right? That says a lot. Claudia, I do not think that Trump's going to have a cosmetic procedure before the debate. No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Nor do I think he should for his own health. I don't think he's healthy enough. Yeah, Kanshana, you know what? I don't even want to get into it, but the fact that there are people so low on the right that are making fun of Tim Walz's son, Gus, is just appalling. It's disgusting. It's not acceptable. It's not okay. But I love how the Walzes treat him. I love how they didn't say, you know, sit down, be quiet. They embraced him. They let him be who he is. And this is a young man that is filled with joy and love. You can see he has good self-esteem. What more can you ask for, you know? The other thing too is, would you guys like me to read on Barron? Now, I always said I wouldn't because he was a child and I don't read on children like that. I just wouldn't. But now he's not. Now he's a man. He has turned 18. I do have some real opinions. I have gotten some psychic insight on that. I am concerned about him. Let me say that. I'm seeing a lot of yeses. Oh, some of you say, okay, a couple of you say no. So no, yes, no, yes. Yeah, here's the thing, and I'll tell you what concerns me about him. And we need to take it more seriously when people harm animals. Because what is that statistic that we all know? We all know it. People that harm animals go on to harm humans, adults, other people, children. And so, I don't get the sense that he's autistic, or if he is, maybe he's just barely on the spectrum, but I don't really feel like he's profoundly autistic now. I don't get that. But I am concerned about that. And so, you know, and the way he has treated his nannies with physical abuse. So I will put it off for now, but I think you guys have a taste of what my feelings are. I am concerned. I was hoping he would go the other way. For those of you that's been following me for years, you know I've been saying, I really hope that he'd be the Trump that would change things and, you know, give him the opportunity, but yeah. Nope. Okay. Tina asks, is the death of Trump's ex-wife ever going to be investigated? Why? Just because she randomly fell down a set of stairs when she had an elevator and she's like put in an unmarked grave and they have like shrubs growing over it? No reason to investigate that, right? And I should say, I know some of you don't get my New England sense of humor. I do get that sometimes. You have to understand, in New England, we're very dry, we're very sarcastic. We love our irony. We have a dark sense of humor. I will do an update on Ukraine because I've seen a few of you ask about that. Okay, one more shuffle. There's people thinking about it. Okay, so this is one of those things we're going to be hearing about. Four of Cups. The obstacle is 45. He's blocking it. So, all right, so that tells me that he knows that this is like going to come to light. Something's going to happen. There is more to hear about it. Okay. Interesting that we get the Ace of Pentacles, because this is the one that's literally related to ground, earth. Okay. New beginning, new investigation into the earth. It's coming into light, right? 7 of Wands. I mean, think about it. It's almost like he's like gotta like dig into the earth. And won't that be telling? Yeah, I think there will be an investigation, and the fact that it's being put on the back burner and tossed to the side, just like she was tossed to the side, is gonna be very telling, isn't it? Okay, let's see. Okay, this is a great one. Mary Jo asks, what's the future for AOC? She gave a great speech, didn't she? Melinda, welcome to Awaken Your Mind. Thank you for joining. Yes, Melissa, I love Doug too. Kamala's husband. Loved his 2 kids. You know, the speeches that they gave, the like montage that his son put together. AOC. So she's in for some turbulent times ahead. Now, I haven't been following her. I'll be honest. I've been so like preoccupied with, you know, the candidates and whatnot. I really haven't been looking at her too much. So there's something kind of turbulent going on. 5 of Wands with her. But she is trying to figure things out. Like, she is speculating. She's trying to come to some conclusions about, okay, which way do I go? How do I move forward? Once again, another card that says, okay, she's figuring things out, how to move forward. So she's planning something. Okay, so she is planning. So she's not dropping out. She's not going anywhere. She's planning, and she's going to go full steam ahead. But it won't be easy. It won't be easy, but there she is with the sword of truth, marching forward. She's on that white horse. She's going. She is going. And I'll tell you, if anybody tries to steal that election, they're going to have to deal with her. Tim asks, will Harris be able to flip Florida? He wrote the question 4 days ago. She's down by 5 points, but of course, too, that was 4 days ago. What is she now, right? Yeah, and Ron DeSantis, he just drives me. I have a hard time just listening to him. You know, part of me, before we moved to Salem, I was thinking of going to Florida. And I was like, you know what? I don't think I could. I don't think I could. I've never been in that situation, and I don't think I want to be either. Indigo Babe, you're asking about the Supreme Court justices. I put out a video not that long ago about that. Take a look. I go into, 3 of them. All right, flipping Florida. Stress, worry, anxiety. Okay. I'm not willing to say an absolute no yet. But you get the Magician in the obstacle position, right? So this is an abuse of power. Who abuses power down there? Well, it's Ron, right? So that's the problem. She needs to get more support. She needs to get more support, more help. Let me ask, why did this come up? I don't know what this means, but I just keep seeing Ron DeSantis. It's almost like he's part of the woodwork, part of the furniture, part of like the institution of Florida. Like it would take so much to like shove him out. But somebody just needs to like, and then we get the card of like being brokenhearted here. So yeah, I think it's gonna be tough. So, but you know what though? Here's the thing. We live on a free will planet. You live in Florida, you don't like how things are going, change it. Do exactly what Bill Clinton was talking about. Talk to your neighbor in a way that's not demeaning. But if you disagree with what they have to say, then say something, but it's how you say it. You're never going to win people over with anger and nastiness. It just doesn't work that way. Christy Peterson? I'm not sure how to say it. Is it possible that we're living in two different timelines? I don't understand how people continue to support 45. I also don't understand why 45 supporters think the left is evil, corrupt, etc. What do my guides say? So it's not that we're in two different timelines, because if we were, then we couldn't see them, right? And it's kind of like how people totally misinterpret Dolores Cannon's shifting of the earths, where there's like two earths. She didn't mean physically, literally two separate earths. That would be bizarre. Could you imagine seeing like all these ghost people walking around? No, that's not what that means. So no, we're not in two different timelines. We're in a timeline, okay? And this is why I think everybody needs to study the law of one. Join my membership. I literally teach it and channel the Raw Collective. It explains all of this. We are all in the same timeline right now, okay? I mean, if you're here watching me, if you're participating in this election, you're in this timeline, okay? But this is the timeline where you decide which density you go to next. Are you going to be service to self or service to others? Which polarity do you choose? Positive or negative, light or dark? You have the choice. You have the choice. Okay? And nothing horrible happens to the people that take the negative side. It just means that when they pass away and they're on the other side, they then have to do like another 75 million years on another third density planet until they get it right. You know, time is an illusion. So in the grand scheme of things, it's like, you don't get it right in this life, you'll get it right in the next one. But you know what? Wouldn't it be nice if you got it right in this one? Because, you know, we've probably all gotten it wrong in so many other lives. Let's get it right in this one. And let's help them. Let's help these people to ascend. You know, be that bright light. Shine your light. Be kind. Be good to your neighbors. Care about your neighbors. You know, that sort of thing. Ukraine. Let's take a look at Ukraine because I keep seeing you guys ask. Yes, you catch more honey with vinegar. Yeah, I'm starting to wonder though, with the whole situation with Ukraine, if this is when Vlad makes his grand exit. If there comes a point where he just flees and goes off into the sunset, does whatever he does. Because like I told you in the predictions that I made in my January 2024 video, I don't see most of these dictators around for much longer. I really don't. You know, trying to predict the exact moment that a dictator leaves, I don't know if I can do that. But, you know, Putin's days are numbered. So Ukraine. Okay, let's take a peek here, guys. Still fighting, right? I mean, here's Ukraine. You know, they're fighting everybody off. They're fighting hard. They are doing what they need to do. But you know what? They are working their magic. But Putin is also having an abuse of power, you know? I mean, that's what he does. He's a dictator. You know, he's not president. He doesn't get elected. You know, I know he always says that, but. And Ukraine has this unique ability to persevere, to keep going, to keep putting one foot in front of the other. You know, I like that. And here they are sitting in their power, you know, with joy at that, right? It's the King of Wands. So with passion, with enthusiasm, with excitement. Here's the Sword of Truth. The truth comes out. Ace of Swords, a new beginning, you know, mental clarity coming in, you know. So, I mean, because the Russian people are suffering too. The Russian people don't want this. I always say, whatever country you're talking about, they want their version of watching Netflix, eating pizza, and playing on their iPhone. That's it. Nobody wants to be dragged off to war. Nobody wants that craziness. How do you know how many lives you've had? An infinite. You're infinitely old. You can't put an age on it. You know, for those people that do schedule readings with me, or you do like the private raw channelings with me, we can get into like what lives you've had in this universe, but before this universe was created, you were someplace else in another universe doing your thing. You know, so maybe, you know, in this universe you were Palladian, and so, you know, we can get into like your Palladian lives and what some of the things were that you did there. And so, yeah. All right, so it's getting towards 9 o'clock. Let me just take a couple of more questions. So I did that one. Oh, Kelly asks a good one, and I'll tell you, I've been hearing this. Okay, before I went to college, I never really knew much about Social Security. But when I was in college, I remember them saying, there's going to be no more Social Security by the time you retire. It's going to be gone. You know, this next generation, now this is going, I mean, this is like decades ago. They were like, the next generation isn't going to be able to retire. It's all going to be gone. So they keep doing this. I don't buy it. But Kelly asks, I heard in the news a few days ago that by the time the 2030s get here, Social Security will run dry. What do me and my guides have to say about that? No, it's not. We're not going to let that happen. We're not. We're not. So let's look at just the future of Social Security here. There could be some changes coming up, but I really do think whatever changes that they do implement, it's going to be for the better. I don't see it just going away. I truly do not. Hey, Suzanne, I see you coming in. Having more than enough money. You know, this is like the only card that has 3 generations, the grandparents, the parents, the kids, the 2 dogs. So having like enough money. Interesting, because this is my card for Kamala. This is one of the issues she's going to be addressing. She's going to be addressing it. With power and authority. So this is something that she is going to like pass laws, legislation. She's going to do something to protect it. And it's going to go through a rebirth, a reawakening, rejuvenation. So, you know, this is the Judgment card. So it actually gets like revitalized. So I don't worry about it. I really don't. So it's coming up to 9 o'clock. Members, you get the Dragon course this week. I have finished putting that curriculum together, so I just have to film and edit, and you will have it this week. So let's do a 3-card poll using dragons in honor of that. And if anyone wants to become a member, take the Dragon course. I think it'll be a lot of fun. There is no way. I see somebody saying that Trump has implants, veneers, and crowns and no dentures. There's no way. That's implants. Maybe bridges that are coming loose then. But no, that is the sound that it makes when the teeth are actually coming loose because you lost too much weight. I mean, I know it well. I've dealt with the elderly. And of course, too, where are you getting this information from? Because would 45 ever say that he had dentures? He never would. So, no, you know, and also too, veneers only, I mean, I have veneers. Veneers only last so long. So pick a card, take a deep breath, see what message Spirit has for you. 1, 2, or 3. Okay, here we go. Number 1, Dusky Pink Dragon from Andromeda. Yeah, I have a lot of clients that are from Andromeda. Andromedans, when they come down and incarnate, they're like the most sensitive, sweet souls, but they care so much about justice. Let's see. Prepares all your chakras to embody higher love. Accept and radiate higher love. Touch others with its flame. So this is all about love, opening your heart, because Andromedans are really, really sweet people. Number 2, Fire Dragon. Look at him. Burns up the lower energies around you. You are safe and protected. Be determined and inspired. Clear your soul's pathway. Love that. And number 3, Air and Water Dragon. Helps you to connect to higher frequencies. Trust your intuition. Develop your psychic abilities. Be open to enlightenment. Express your inner song. All right, so really nice messages to go into the weekend. So, all right, everybody, it was a pleasure. Thank you for coming. Make sure you hit that like button, leave me a comment. Don't forget, check out membership if you do want that Starseed course. It is going away forever on October 1st because I am writing that book. So it was a pleasure. Have a really good weekend, everybody. I'm going to book club tomorrow morning, so I'm excited. All right, bye, everybody.